This is the Pop Tournaments podcast. In Pop Tournaments, we take a category of pop culture and let you, the fans, vote on matchups in a single elimination tournament format to determine an ultimate champion. We are here to discuss those results and the upcoming matchups. Thanks to our great community and everybody who votes, let's start the show. Hello, and welcome to the Pop Tournaments Oscar special. We are so happy to be here with everybody. We have Ryan Barrett.
What's happening, everybody?
And Jennifer Schmidt.
Hi, friends.
We are coming to you from Peter Jackson's Winnebago. This will be its own unexpected journey. But so happy to be here talking Oscars. Ryan, who are you wearing?
I'm wearing Donald Sutherland. I'm wearing this because today, as we're recording, we have a semi-competitive matchup going between Ordinary People, one of my favorite Oscar Best Picture winners, and Dances with Wolves. So
one of Jake's favorite Best Picture winners. So
I was trying to figure out. At first, I was thinking, I should wear something nice because this is such, the Oscars are such a huge deal to everybody in the world, and so I was thinking maybe I should dress up, and then I thought, I haven't worn my Donald Sutherland shirt yet on the podcast. Maybe today's the day.
Yeah. I think so.
I don't wear this in public because it looks so nude. Like if I wear this, people always think that I'm not wearing a shirt. So.
All right. And, we don't only want to focus on fashion. We've all got a lot to say. Jen, would you like to comment on the recent economic rulings for unincorporated Nova Scotia and how it might affect the ruling class and its relationships with its employed class?
I'd rather talk about your bow tie, which I think is fantastic.
Thank you. Well, again, here we are. This is the Oscar episode. This is the closest thing I have. It's not a tuxedo, but you usually wear a bow tie with a tuxedo, right?
Mm-hmm. You do. Yeah.
I don't know.
Often do. You look quite dapper.
I've never had a reason to wear a tuxedo, so who knows? But yeah, we're here to talk about the 2021 Oscars, and we're going to be focusing on the main categories here, but I'm sure some other things will come up, but I think it's going to be an interesting year given
I think
the
scope
of things. Do you guys, Jen, I'll let you go first. Do you think there's anything that's really a lock anywhere, or do you think this is kind of a wide open field because of the year we've had?
I think there's a couple that are locks that we'll talk about, but I think I think it's up in the air. I think you might think that Best Picture is a lock because one movie has won almost all the major awards for it, but that's happened in the 2 of the last 3 years. That has also happened, or maybe a little bit longer, but La La Land and 1917 both were going into the Oscars with a ton of wins for Best Picture and then lost it on the Oscars. So I think it's up in the air. I think it's fun. I think it's an awesome year where every movie that's nominated for Best Picture was excellent.
Agreed.
So,
yeah. Ryan, is this, being the weird year that this has been, is this going to be one of the more boring and everything happens as expected, or is this going to be one of the most exciting Oscars we've had?
I don't know. It's really tough to say, honestly. I hope it's exciting. I love some surprises. I definitely think there are some locks. I think that Soul for Best Animated is a lock. I think that Sound of Metal for Best Sound is a lock.
I love that sound is one category.
Me
this
too.
year.
That's so awesome. It's
Yes.
about time. That's
It
one of
used to
those
be
things.
Split into two.
That's one of those things that every year, even nerds like us have to be like, wait, so what's the difference?
Right. What's the difference? Yeah.
But yeah, so that's great, and there's one of the main categories that I think is a total lock. Maybe more.
Best actor.
Well,
Director, yeah, I think director is a lock.
Oh,
I think
director?
supporting actor is
Probably.
kind of a lock.
Yeah, I think supporting actor is a lock.
well,
But
yeah.
but there's I think there's a lot that's kind of up in the air. So we'll see.
It's definitely been a unique year. Definitely a year where I think a lot of these movies were more accessible to people, just given the circumstances and the world. Not only the current situation, but how much streaming has become.
Yeah, I'm actually really.
And a lot of these were produced like by and distributed by the streaming companies.
Yeah.
Kind of from the beginning, which is great. More voices being heard is a good thing.
Absolutely. I'm really curious to know if I know the slate this year is a little bit more diverse and a little bit less blockbustery. You know, I feel like there's not a lot of those like big 1917 kind of movies, like the like the big budget Oscar movies. Like almost like most of these movies are pretty small scale. And I wonder, because so many people were viewing from home, if more people actually saw the Oscar movies this year than normal.
I wonder.
It's tough
I
to
think
know
so.
because streaming numbers aren't as
But so many
readily
are
available.
free for streaming.
Yeah.
Right.
So if you haven't yet, catch them.
Whereas, I mean, there were a small handful throughout all of these nominations, though, that were actually really difficult to find. Small handful, but that you would have thought would have been more featured. But let's jump right into it. We're gonna go through about 8 or 9 categories here, but we're gonna start with adapted screenplay, fun category this year. I've been able to see 3 of these movies myself, but Jen, let's start with you. Do you have a favorite when it comes to adapted screenplay? One that really stands out for you?
Yeah, I'm hoping this is where The Father gets a win. I thought, like, Anthony Hopkins was fantastic. I mean, the whole movie was great. It's one of the Best Picture nominees. It was, for me, probably the one that was the biggest surprise to me. I went in expecting to hate it and dreading watching it, and I was super engaged the entire time. And I think the plot, the plot and how it's written is the coolest part of it. So I'm hoping it gets recognized. I don't think there's one movie that's, like, by far the best chance to win, unless it's like Nomadland. If Nomadland wins
If it's
this
sweeping
one,
the night, yeah.
which definitely could happen, but I think this will be one of those clues if Nomadland's gonna take Best Picture or not.
Gotcha. Ryan, I recently watched One Night in Miami. I enjoyed that one also.
I'm watching
I
that
know
tonight. Yeah.
You enjoyed that, but yeah, anything to stand out here?
Well, I've seen all these movies. I'm shocked that White Tiger is nominated here. I did not think that was a good movie.
Yeah.
And One Night in Miami was great. I think it was a really, really great adaptation. Although I think if anything, other than the acting were to be nominated, I would have expected it to be Regina King.
I'm so bummed she didn't get a directing nomination.
But and that was for director, obviously. But I think that Nomadland is the favorite. The Father is kind of the most likely spoiler, I think.
Yeah, I think it's between those two.
The weird thing though, Borat won, I think, the Writers Guild Award for adapted screenplay.
Golden Globe.
Here's what
I know. Yeah, I don't remember which it won, but it's won one of them.
Yeah, which is so weird because so much is
seems so improvised,
yeah.
but I think it must.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
how did everybody in that movie not know it was coming? Because this was obviously adapted from the book Borat's subsequent movie film.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, they could have just
the
read the book.
The New York Times bestseller.
Rudy
Yeah.
Giuliani wouldn't have had to go through that.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
knew what was about to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was surprised by that. That was considered adapted, but
But
Yeah.
yeah, I completely agree. I think that I'm hoping The Father wins, but I think Nomadland is it. That's what I'm probably going to be putting on my.
Yeah.
If I had to pick right now, I'd say Nomadland.
I
Although
think I'm going The Father on my list. But yeah, if we don't do them until like Saturday night, Sunday morning. So
Nomadland,
we'll post them though.
Nomadland is just one of those things. I feel like if people are just marking shit down, they're gonna pick Nomadland. But if they're actually trying to like think about the screenplay for Nomadland is like seems
It's
so
really
improvised.
loose,
Like it's
yeah.
all just like people.
It's so much of it is improvised, yeah.
Yeah. So
And
it
beautiful
seems
like shots of the Badlands.
yeah,
So.
it seems unfair to not give it to The Father in favor of Nomadland when The Father is
Yeah.
like, I mean, so much of it is.
Oh.
I mean, it's adapted from a play like One Night in Miami, but it's
Yeah.
this really incredible adaptation. So
It is. It's a cool movie. That one scene where it like starts and ends in the exact same place is
Yeah.
just like wow. Yeah.
yeah, and I haven't talked since I saw this movie on this podcast, but we watched it the same night that we recorded the last podcast, and I loved that movie so much.
Me too.
It's so good.
Don't need to watch it again. It's one of those
Yeah.
that I don't think I'll ever watch again, but it was amazing, and I would consider watching it again.
Yeah, I actually kind of
Yes.
do want to watch it again from like
Yeah.
picking it apart and kind of trying to figure it out more kind of angle. But yeah, it's definitely it's kind of a hard watch, but it's also kind of like a weird Christopher Nolan-y
It is. It is.
sort of movie. So
it's a hard watch. But I was sitting in the chair the first time, and now I want to watch from the couch.
yeah.
Yep.
So let's jump over to the other side and go original screenplay here. So Ryan, I'll let you start out this time. There's a lot of good writing.
Yeah.
in this
So this
category.
one's like all of these nominees are Best Picture nominees as well. So sorry, Ryan
Yeah.
starting.
No problem.
I have
that's
so
okay.
many opinions.
Do you know what, Ryan? Sorry, you're gonna have to hold that, Jen. You got to get it out. I gotta help you get it out.
No,
So
Ryan
what
can go
do you
first.
think
It's
here?
all good.
Okay.
Ryan,
Okay.
who do you think?
So it's between two again, I think, for this one. I think Promising Young Woman is technically the favorite. Trial of the Chicago 7 is kind of the spoiler. And I think those are kind of the two.
I think they're the best too.
Minari has
at,
an
like,
outside
looking at best
chance.
screenplay.
But Sorkin won for Trial of the Chicago 7 in the Golden Globe. Promising Young Woman, I think, has won a couple other.
Writers Guild.
Writers Guild
won the
original
Writers Guild,
screenplay.
which usually lines up.
So I'm
The Gilded
I,
one.
I think I'll be picking Promising Young Woman. That's what I'm rooting for. But again, like we were talking about with the last one, and if Nomadland wins adapted screenplay, that might kind of be a place where you can read the tea leaves. If Trial of the Chicago 7 wins here, it
Yeah.
might be like, maybe we need to watch out for a spoiler in Best Picture.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I am like Trial of the Chicago 7 is very much kind of I think it's the most that and Mank are the most like regular Best Picture nominees. Like they're the type that have done well and won in past years. And Trial of the Chicago 7, it's Aaron Sorkin, who is one of the best screenwriters out there and does a great job with this. It's structured really well, and I did really like it a lot more. Like, I get a little tired of Aaron Sorkin having, like, white men talk at me so much, but this one, I did really enjoy it, and I can see it winning, but, the screenplay is usually kind of like a third place prize. So like for the movie that doesn't win Best Picture and Best Director, screenplay is where they really like to reward those other, especially like up and coming people. And so I think Promising Young Woman, like that's kind of why it has this extra momentum, because it is a really loved movie. It's a little bit too funky and a little bit too different, I think, to take the grand prize. But I think this will be kind of that, hey, we know we're going to see more from you, Emerald Fennell. And so, yeah, I think that's what's going to take it. And she'll be the only, like, second woman since Diablo Cody to win a solo
Oh, wow.
one for a screenplay. Like, so since 2011, 2007? Yeah, 2007, I think was when Diablo Cody won it. So,
Gotcha.
yep.
Yeah. It was right around that time.
Very
yeah.
cool.
Very, very nice. So yeah, I think between both original and adapted, we've got some heavy hitters. I mean, I think you guys are both right. It really, in each category, it really comes down to two, but it's still a pretty darn tight race. It's not like somebody's way far behind.
I wouldn't be shocked if Minari won it. I wouldn't really be shocked with any of those. Judas and the Black Messiah, maybe, because I feel like the screenplay is probably the weakest part of that one, but I wouldn't be shocked with any of them.
And I'm saving my Sound of Metal talk because I watched that recently, so I
Did you love it?
don't want to.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it, but I just don't want to. Oh no, you're all good. We're just, this is free form, man. You want to jump to this picture? We can jump to directing. I don't care. No, but let's talk about some supporting roles. And this is always kind of weird because it's what in a lot of the cases it's what does the studio push for. Could that person have been considered more of a lead?
This one definitely has that. Oh my gosh.
So let's start with actor. It's pretty, again, good field. I really enjoyed what I've seen of the performances from these people. But Jen, who do you think stands out, and who do you want to make sure gets mentioned?
Yeah, so this is one of the acting. This one's probably the biggest lock in that Daniel Kaluuya has won every award going into this.
Yep.
This is definitely one of those examples where him and Lakeith Stanfield are both lead actors. And I don't understand why they're in this category, except that the studio's like, hey, they might be able to win in this one. We're not going to put them up against Chadwick Boseman, I think. So they're both fantastic. They're both in the whole movie. But yeah, so he's won all of them. I would, in a different year, if he wasn't up too, because he's fantastic. But Paul Raci is so good in Sound of Metal, and in a different year, he could take it too, for sure. He's a 40-year-old veteran of acting, and he has deaf parents and is fluent in sign language, so he's bringing all of this real life learned history and authenticity to the role too, and he really does just steal those scenes that he's in, and I would love to see him too. So, and Sacha Baron Cohen was delightful in Trial of Chicago 7.
He did a really good job. Yeah,
he was awesome. I want to see him. I always love him when he's not Borat too, in movies. He's always great. And, I mean, obviously I love Leslie Odom Jr., Aaron Burr. So.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny how you talked about Daniel Kaluuya and Lakeith Stanfield. It's in today's matchup features Ordinary People, and I thought the same thing about Ordinary People when both Judd Hirsch and Timothy Hutton were nominated. In the supporting role, Timothy Hutton ended up winning.
Yes.
So nice little irony there. Ryan, do you agree with what Jen had to say there?
Yeah, absolutely. The one thing I will say, and we said before, we're not gonna do the snubs and flubs thing just because this would be so long. But I thought
you can add one in.
Maybe the best supporting role of the year was Delroy Lindo in The Five Bloods.
Yes.
And it was that's probably the biggest snub of the year in any category. But Daniel Kaluuya was amazing. he should win, I think, and I think he will win. But like Jenny said, I love, love, love Paul Raci. I actually think, I would not be mad if Paul Raci won.
Nope, I wouldn't at all.
I don't think he has a chance, but there's a chance.
There's a chance. There's always a chance, especially with supporting.
Yeah.
Like, supporting is
Weird shit
where the
happens.
bigger surprises tend to happen. Yeah.
Yep. And like you said, I think there's a really outside chance Sacha Baron Cohen could win too, especially with, Borat getting so much love this year too, and him not getting nominated for that. It could be kind of like a twofer,
Yep.
Yeah, he's everywhere.
But yeah,
Yes.
I think that if I were, watching Judas and the Black Messiah, to me, Daniel Kaluuya was the supporting actor and Lakeith Stanfield was the lead actor.
Yeah.
And not by much, but it's just, because of the Lakeith Stanfield was sort of the protagonist of the film.
Yes.
And Daniel
Yes,
Kaluuya
for
was
sure.
like, you don't really see through his perspective much in the movie. It's more like, so yeah, I think from that angle, I was really surprised when I saw Lakeith Stanfield nominated here, even though I thought he was amazing in Judas and the Black Messiah, but I'm surprised.
Yeah,
he
not
was,
surprised he was nominated.
Yeah.
It's
And
weird that
I'm-
he's in this category.
I have loved him in everything I've seen him in, so
Yes.
I'm happy that he's,
Yeah, I think he's definitely someone that's like, all right, he's got to win one at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
I think when he finally gets that first one, then multiples will quickly follow. But yeah, a lot of times it's about getting that first one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Funny thing, so we're in the middle of our past 40 years of Oscar winners, and we were talking about how many people have been in multiple Oscar winners. But what's funny is there's not a lot of Best Actor winners. Or supporting, the supporting a little bit more, but there's not a lot of Best Actor winners that have been in multiple Oscar winners, Best
Really?
Picture winners.
Okay.
Yeah, you look at, I don't know, but yeah,
Take your word
it's
for it.
just an interesting
yeah,
thing
no,
to.
it
to
is. Yeah.
I mean, like Morgan Freeman never won one, but Russell Crowe, he's won Best. He's like the exception. He won Best
Yeah.
Actor and has been in 2 Best Picture winners. So. Moving on. We've got Best Actress in a Supporting Role. I think, again, another interesting category. It's always fun with these supporting roles. It's like you could be in the majority of the movie, and like Ryan said, you're not the protagonist or not the main
Right.
person. Or you can be in like 2 scenes and
Yeah,
still get
8 minutes and walk
nominated.
away with it. Judi Dench and
Yeah.
Shakespeare in Love. I think she had 8 minutes of screen
she's
time.
the classic.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jen, who's same thing? Who's standing out? Who deserves to be mentioned?
I hope I say her name right. Yoon Yoo-jung, I think, is our winner
Yeah.
here, and I'll be a little bit heartbroken if she isn't.
Yeah.
So I'm really rooting for her. She plays the grandmother in Minari. And it's a great movie, but it's just becomes magical when she shows up. And I feel like she's really the heart of it. And she's just amazing, and she's very famous in Korea, and so glad that now American audiences are getting to know her too, because yeah, she's so good, and I'm really hoping she wins. She won the BAFTA and I think the SAG award, so she kind of became the favorite more recently, which is also kind of when you want to start peaking there towards the end. I think Glenn Close is the other one, though. If she doesn't win, this makes 8 Oscar nominations and no wins, which ties her with Peter O'Toole, I believe, for most times being nominated without a win. But I don't think it's going to be Hillbilly Elegy, because it's just not a good movie. So,
Yeah.
so that's going to hurt Glenn Close.
She's not peaking.
No,
No.
she's not. And it's funny that she's up against also Olivia Colman,
Yep.
who snatched that Best Actress from her. Because we all thought Glenn Close was going to win Best Actress last time for The Wife. And Olivia Colman got it. So, and they're up. But, yeah, I think it's between those two. But I'm rooting for Yoon Jun.
Ryan, I think we've got standout performances here. Everybody very early on was talking about Maria
Bakalova.
And she is great.
Yeah.
In Borat. As soon as that movie came out, and Amanda Seyfried was enjoyable in Mank. Again, I felt like that was an enjoyable movie. I don't want to forget about them. But do you see the same winner here?
Yeah, I do. Yu Jung Yoon, I think, is that's who I'm putting on my ballot. But I do think this race is open. And I mean, I could honestly see Amanda Seyfried win. Which is crazy because
old Hollywood.
She's a pretty heavy long shot. But I could see Glenn Close win. I could definitely right now, according to Vegas, Maria Bakalova is like the second place.
Okay.
As far as the odds go, but and then Glenn Close is third, and then Olivia Colman, and then Amanda Seyfried. But Yu Jung Yoon, I think, is the pick. She is, and I think she should win. She is absolutely delightful in that movie, and I will just say I really liked Minari. I didn't totally love it, but I'll just say the parts of the movie where she had more lines I really loved, and the parts of the movie where she had less lines I didn't love as much.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
Yeah. And so like her relationship with the son and all their interplay is just fucking fantastic. I could watch an entire movie just with the two of them. And with the mountain water. Like, that is way too cute.
Well, it's I think from what I've been hearing, and like you both said, I think that's probably one of the other closer to locks contest categories we have here. But like you said, Ryan, Vegas kind of has it wide open.
Yeah.
So if you want to make some money,
go Amanda Seyfried if you want to make if you want to make that money.
I'll definitely be putting down a few bucks.
You got to take some shots.
Yeah.
All right, so let's jump into the leading roles. These are the meatier ones. Do you guys want to go actor or actress first?
Either way.
Okay, let's go actor.
Okay.
I think this is a very fun list we have here. We've been talking a lot already about all of these movies, but I think fantastic performances from everybody here. Really fun. I enjoyed Sound of Metal a lot. I'm going to not say too much from that, but Riz Ahmed was just really took in that role. I don't know if he's got a chance to win here, but Jen, I'd like to hear who you think is going to be leading this pack.
Yeah, I would love to see him win to some year or even a different year for that performance. But I think, Chadwick Boseman is going to win it for his amazing performance in Ma Rainey, but then also just for all the performances we know he would have done that we're not going to get to see.
Yeah. I think it's what if I heard you correctly, like it's definitely a deserved win. But on top of that, you have to add in on top of that, like you said, all those performances we're not going to be able to see.
That's if definitely... in a different year, I think maybe Anthony Hopkins would have won it just because he's the oldest Best Actor nominee ever, and he really is amazing in The Father. And his only other Oscar is from Silence of the Lambs, actually. I definitely would have thought that he's had a whole bunch more. He's had other nominations. And so, like, a different year, people will be like, oh, Chadwick Boseman, he'll win in the future. So we'll give it to the old guy, who's also amazing. But since we're not going to get to see more from Chadwick Boseman, I don't see this not being recognized.
And you're right. All those times he played Odin in the Thor movies, I was really surprised he wasn't nominated. I get it. Anthony Hopkins. You'd think he'd have more nominations. No, I agree. I it's in a different year, like you said, or under different circumstances, this would probably be closer. So I think Ryan, you probably agree that this is pretty much a lock. But what do you got to say about the other nominees here?
Well, Steven Yeun is my number one man crush.
Nice.
And
Deservedly so.
he can wear the fuck out of a short sleeve button up shirt.
What, is it short sleeve
He
or
looks
rolled
good
up sleeve?
digging
Oh,
in
it's
dirt,
short.
I'm not
It's
gonna
short
lie.
sleeve.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he looks a little like in this. He looks like a little more like weathered and grown up.
Yeah.
But yeah,
He definitely is hitting some buttons there.
yeah.
Oh, my button.
But
He's got a British accent in this movie. Sorry.
Riz Ahmed's amazing. I thought he was so good in Sound of Metal. And I think that Chadwick Boseman is going to win, but I do not think it's a lock. I really think that the father, maybe it's just me because I loved it so much, but I feel like it has some momentum. And, it won the BAFTA. Anthony Hopkins won the BAFTA for Best Actor. So I think that, there is love. And,
I wouldn't be shocked.
I personally just didn't really like Ma Rainey's Black Bottom that much. I thought it was kind of forgettable. I thought Chadwick Boseman was great in it.
And Viola Davis as well. I thought it was great. I didn't like it as much as I thought I was going to.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought the performances were all great. And, it would be great. It would be a great story to give him this posthumous Oscar. But I thought Anthony Hopkins was better than Chadwick Boseman. So it's tough. I mean, it's that I mean, the entire movie is The Father. The entire performance is amazing. But the last scene, I was just give that man the fucking Oscar now.
I always thought the last scene was a little bit too much. The one time it goes a little bit too far, and I was like, oh my god, he wants that Oscar so bad.
See,
I just lost it. It was enough for me.
But where were you sitting when you watched that last scene? Were you on the couch or on the chair? You might have to watch it from a...
Yep.
See, you got to try watching it at home. Different angle.
Yep, I do. Different angle.
I'm really trying hard to get my own throwbacks here. Sorry. We've got 3 more categories, and I love so we're spending some extra time because I like you guys, I love all of these different acting categories. So our last one, actress in a leading role, and just watched Nomadland last night. Although after last week's episode, Ryan was speaking very fast, and I thought he said Nomadlander. So I was waiting for one of the McLeods to show up. I mean, there was all these views of rocks. There was lots of rocks in Highlander. It's very similar movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have
and
to.
she's
you
by
have to,
herself.
She is by herself. That's
you have
true.
to really pay attention. You have to really pay attention, or you might get confused and not know which one you're watching.
And there's that famous scene of the McLeod. Why can't I think of his first name? I keep wanting to say Gavin, but Gavin was the McLeod from the TV show. But the Highlander poops in a bucket also. So.
Yeah.
I think Frances McDormand should get the win just for pooping in a bucket on screen
and being naked in a river too. So
that's right.
But that's been done before. Nobody's ever pooped in a bucket.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We love our poop jokes on Pop Tournaments podcast. But Jen, I think this is kind of close. Who do you love here?
I don't know. This is the one that's like totally up in the air. Different people have won all of the previous awards. Frances McDormand's got one. Andra Day got the Golden Globe. Did Viola Davis, I think, got the SAG award. But Carey Mulligan's picked up a bunch of the smaller ones. She got like the Critics' Choice, National Board of Review, something like that. She just got the Independent Spirit last night. So I don't think there's any one person. So Frances McDormand and Viola Davis both already have an Oscar. I think Frances McDormand has 2. Viola Davis has 1. And Carey Mulligan has been nominated before for An Education, which is this movie that like no one kind of remembers or saw the first time, but it is wonderful. I love that movie, and I've loved her in that ever since. Like, Carey Mulligan is just someone who's, she's going to be fantastic in whatever she's in. She's never let me down. I love her. And I have not seen Pieces of a Woman, so I don't know, but Vanessa Kirby definitely has some buzz around her too. Like, it's considered a not good movie, but like the one like really big scene that she's in is apparently an amazing performance. So I don't know. I don't know for sure what I'm gonna guess. I'm guessing my heart's telling me Carey Mulligan. She's the one I want to win the most here. So we'll see.
You have a 40% chance of the winner being from a movie whose title ends in woman.
Yeah. That's true, yeah.
Sorry. Again, I am really gripping at straws here. Ryan, what do you think?
I pretty much agree with everything Jenny said. I think that Carey Mulligan probably should win, and I think Carey Mulligan probably will win. I think that's who I'm probably putting on my ballot. I think it could be everybody except for Vanessa Kirby. I think I'm taking out of my possibilities just because she hasn't won anything else.
Yeah.
But she's been nominated for like everything. So it's not impossible. But that's the one of these that I haven't seen. Although I did not finish Billie Holiday. We watched about the first half hour and we're like, okay, that's good enough, right? It was just not doing it for us. So it was very just a bad biopic.
Yeah.
But Andra Day was great. So yeah, this is the most wide open one, but yeah, I'm going Carey Mulligan.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure. I know they always do. They stick to the same pattern or order every year of when they hand out. It's always different.
I don't think
right?
so. I don't know.
I think it's pretty close. Like, we usually do supporting actress as kind of like starts off the night.
I heard this year they're not. I heard this year they're changing it, so it's gonna like kind of work up from like smaller categories.
Okay,
because it's always been mixed before.
It's like you
I
do
remember
a couple
like,
big ones, and then it's like, all right.
Yeah. 1 year, the year Jared Leto won, he that was within like the first 3 categories.
Yeah. Usually it'll be like supporting actor or actress, and then like a couple small ones, and then like animated feature, and then like 5 small ones, and then
a song performance.
Yep.
So that the reason I asked that, because I think again you always talk about reading the tea leaves. Again, if this is one of those nights where Nomadland is winning a bunch of awards, I think I could see this category going in that direction.
100% see Frances McDormand winning this, or Viola Davis winning this. I would not be shocked.
So yeah, it's great. It's again fun year, hopefully. So in our directing category, mixing in a few other movies, at least that we haven't talked about, or I should say the one, another round from Thomas Vinterberg.
That's nominated for international feature, so best foreign film. That's nominated for.
But hasn't been featured in any of our other categories. Mads Mikkelsen. For those,
a lot of people are very
if you're
into
looking
him.
for something something to recognize. But otherwise, again, a lot of great directors here. Personally, I think it's Chloe Zhao for Nomadland, but let's talk about it, Jen.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think Chloe Zhao from Nomadland's got this one. I would be pretty surprised if it goes any other way, especially since they've started splitting, like since Best Picture and Director like haven't been lining up as much as they used to.
Not as often. Yep.
So yeah, I think she's going to be only the second woman to ever win after Catherine Bigelow for Hurt Locker, and the first woman of color to win. So yeah, this is, I think, the first time that 2 women have been nominated in this category ever, which is super exciting. And yeah, I think it's her. I mean, unless stuff goes really weird and it splits more, Minari or Promising Young Women starts picking up a lot of momentum, I'd be pretty surprised.
Yeah. And again, like you said, it's nice to have 2 women in this category and a foreign director in the category. So it's we're getting better at getting a nice
This was
mix.
definitely, yes. This was definitely better. And like the better movies show for it, when we have more voices, we get better movies.
Right, Ryan. I don't want to cut you off, so let's hear what you have to say about directors.
Chloe Zhao.
Yep.
Yeah.
Should will.
Yeah.
Yeah. But again, these, I think if you are, close movie watchers like us here and pay attention to the actual directing of the movie and the way it plays out, I think these are all very, very deserving nominations here. Since we're getting close to the end, go ahead, Ryan.
I will say really quick, for anybody who hasn't seen The Rider, that was Chloe Zhao's last film. I liked that. I mean, I think kind of across the board from everybody I've heard talk about Nomadland, everybody has said, well, I liked The Rider a lot better. Like, it's pretty much, it was an incredible, incredible film. I highly, highly recommend. Especially if you like Nomadland, you would love The Rider.
Okay.
It's the same style of movie where it's a lot of non-actors, if not all non-actors in The Rider, but it's kind of that mix between it kind of feels like half documentary or like a hybrid of these people know what they're talking about to a point where I'm guessing they actually do this in real life, So yeah, it's kind of a hybrid documentary and feature like Nomadland.
Good. You did not go where I thought you maybe were going. I'll ask both of you just because we only have one more category to get to. So, is there any director, if we could have had a 6th person in this category?
Regina King for me. Sorry.
Regina King
I think
for
Regina
Ryan.
King. Yeah.
I kind of figured you guys would agree on that. That's why I knew it wouldn't take up too much time. Yeah. So again, maybe
I was actually, when this was like something we were talking about we as in me and Becky were talking about this before
Your
the
wife
nomination.
Rebecca?
Yeah, we were talking about this before the nominations were announced, and we were saying oh my God, this is going to be so great. We're going to have 3 female directors this year. And then Thomas Vinterberg got in, which was
and I mean,
that's awesome.
I like David Fincher a lot too, but he doesn't need to be here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
that's
honest.
Mank was fine.
We could.
David Fincher's great. I always like David Fincher movies, but yeah.
And surprisingly, according to Vegas, he's the possible spoiler right now, but I don't see it. I think
Old Hollywood.
I could see either Emerald Fennell or Lee Isaac Chung more than Fincher.
All right.
I mean, but honestly, who knows? There could be a Mank sweep. It
could,
that would
be the artist.
Fucking wild.
If the old white men get their way, because they
up.
definitely love movies about Hollywood, and it's interesting enough and different enough that I would not be shocked. I will be sad if all of a sudden everything goes Mank, but
Yeah, sad, not
happen.
shocked.
yes, exactly.
Well, so okay, we've got one category left, and we're going to try to go through each of these movies. I mean, so some of them we won't have to spend too much time on because we've already talked a little bit about. But let's start there. Let's start with Mank. It's the old Hollywood movie. It is a fun story. Don't get me wrong. I watched it the other night. I enjoyed the story.
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed it.
But yeah, I think this is a best picture from 15 years ago, not in 2021.
Or
Jen?
I feel like with like a couple like revisions on the screenplay, it could have been a best picture now too. It felt like it was kind of like they didn't quite know where they were going with it. I got to the end and I was like, so what was the point here? Like, is it the tortured artist and what he has to go through to get his, movie made? Is it like, it seems like Amanda Seyfried's the best part of this, but she's just in and out and mostly just like a manic pixie dream girl here.
Yeah.
Like, she's so interesting, and I thought maybe we're gonna go someplace interesting with her and dig into her life. No, we're not. We've got the whole like MGM as a propaganda machine in elections.
And the
I thought
Upton
that was
Sinclair
going to be it,
thing, yeah.
right.
Yeah,
like I
there's-
thought that was the point, but that's like a third of it, but then it kind of goes away from like
It was too
what's
much at
going
once.
on here. Right.
Yeah.
It was trying to be too many movies to be any
and
one
just-
really effectively.
And trying to just say like, oh no, this is just a movie about Citizen Kane. Like, no, it's
Right.
not.
But it's not, yeah, it's not at all.
Right,
Like,
Ryan? Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything to add?
I'm drawing a blank on the character's name that Amanda Seyfried plays. Do either?
oh, now I am.
She's
Yeah.
apparently a very, very interesting character and like notorious in real life.
Yeah.
I heard,
And that's the way they present
I
it.
heard
I'm
somebody.
like, why did we leave Sam Simeon? Can we just be there the whole time?
I heard
like,
I heard somebody saying that
that's
like
fascinating.
she was obsessed with the idea of like hanging out with Hitler or like having dinner with Hitler or something, and was like trying to make it happen just because if
I don't know if interesting is the right word.
like she was when you have that much power, you know what I mean,
Uh-huh.
and
Yeah.
you're that connected, you can just kind of do whatever you want.
And you
Yeah.
don't have anything like to do. Yeah,
Yeah.
I would love that movie. Let's get the sequel where it's Amanda Seyfried, and playing whatever her name, biopic about her,
Yeah.
and that
Well,
that would be awesome. Gary Oldman
when-
can come back
and
and be in there, and
really with
Yeah.
Mank,
What-
when I think about it, I just think about moments. Like there's like scenes that I really loved. That scene in like the great dining hall where he's wasted.
Yes.
I'm like,
With Tywin Lannister.
that was amazing.
Yes,
like
I
that was
know.
my favorite scene in the movie. I mean, that's kind of like the big scene, sort of. And I loved that. And there's like pieces of it that I really
my
liked.
favorite scene was when he's like first gets there and they're like shooting the movie, but it's also like everyone knows it's bullshit,
Yeah.
pretty much,
Yeah.
but they're doing that. That was awesome. That was a really cool part.
Yeah.
So.
But then it's just when you think about it, you're like, that was a really long movie, and like it was just a lot of like, it was a collection of like stuff that didn't all work together.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
close.
exactly.
And it
It
was
was
cool.
not-
It looked awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was not a greater sum than its parts.
Yeah.
Closest thing I would say in this category to a comedy. So,
Yeah.
I mean, there's others that are close,
I'd
but
say
I
it's
think
the
this
lightest
was,
one,
it's
yeah.
yeah, lightest one. Let's jump around here. Jen, I know you really, really enjoyed Promising Young Woman.
I did. Yes.
I mean, we haven't had a chance to talk too much about it, so what what gives it a chance, and what's holding it back?
Yeah, well, my husband's going to laugh because it's the same thing I think is holding everyone back. It's old white men. So, because I can't see it winning just because it's so, like, it's about, like, toxic masculinity and men being predators, but then also about the, like, silence all around these men when they're predators that enables them. And that's why what I think is really great about this movie is that's the people it's also going after. And I haven't seen that before in a movie. And like Alison Brie's character is fantastic in that. The hero good guy is like so many layers to all of that. In addition to being a really fun direction, the colors in it and the acting in it. We've got the one like queer character in all of these movies. We've only got one, and like at least we've got Laverne Cox in this movie playing her boss at the coffee shop. It's so smart. It's like the acting is so on point from start to finish. It's definitely the movie I was thinking about the most when it ended. I think it's the tightest one. So much happens in this movie. It's a ride from start to finish, for sure. So it would be my pick for Best Picture, personally. But I think in a place with so much history of abuse and silence around the treatment of young women as Hollywood has, I can't see it really taking the top spot.
Somebody will stop that because that's not what should happen. But I totally agree with what you said.
I think a lot of the producers that are on the Academy will see themselves in this too much to enjoy it.
Yeah, Ryan, do you have something to add here?
Well, I echo everything Jenny said. This is definitely, in my top 2 or 3 favorite movies of the year, probably.
Nice. Yeah.
And I'd say my favorite movie of the Best Picture nominees. The Father is also right up there. Those are kind of it. I think those are my 2 favorites of all these. I really love Sound of Metal too. I would put that up there. And then probably Nomadland, then maybe like Minari, Judas. That's kind of like how I rank them. But
Gotcha.
But Promising Young Woman, number 1. I love it. Everything you said about, it just had so much to say. They're kind of taking brave new stances on things and like making points that really you haven't seen before. And so it was definitely fodder for really great conversation afterwards, and stuck with me for up until now. And I have heard a lot of people really not like this movie. Like it seems like critic wise, it seems very divisive. Almost more than any other movie here. So I definitely don't think it has a chance, but I think it's my favorite.
Important, and again, like I think a movie like that forces people to look inward, and also like you said, where a lot of people don't like it, it's rattling the proper cages. Maybe it doesn't have a chance, but it's important that it's nominated, and
I'm so glad it's here. I'm so glad we went to the 8 movies, because this would have been the movie that I would have been so mad wasn't nominated.
Exactly. Okay, and another one we've talked a lot about it, so we can probably breeze through, not giving it disrespect, but The Father, also nominated for Best Picture. We've talked about it on previous episodes, and we've talked about it a lot today, but it sounds like both of you guys agree that it is a fantastic movie. Definitely has a chance. Jen, what's going for it? What's holding it back?
Yeah, I don't know if it really has a chance for Best Picture, but it was such a surprise. It's so well done, and so different. Like, I thought I had seen this movie before until we get into it, and I hadn't. And I think it's also something that a lot of people, like our generation and a little bit older, can really connect with, too. Because it's, very much about, what do you do, like, when your parents need you to be taking care of them, and that balance. Right. And yeah, it's I don't know. I don't know what to say. It's great.
No,
it's
a
really
great
great.
movie. Yeah. And it's here in the Best Picture category.
Yeah,
Ryan?
and it's deservedly in here.
Yep, absolutely. This was a huge surprise, especially not so much by the time I actually watched it, because pretty much everybody said the exact same thing about it that I had heard in film podcasts and friends say, oh my God, I was expecting this and I got this, So I kind of knew that it was going to be fun or at least like interesting. And yeah, it was totally unique and offered a rare glimpse inside the mind of someone with dementia. And, just the small changes in the setting that kind of keep you on your toes and keep you kind of confused. And the casting and how things, it feels like you're kind of on a carousel and like you just can't really get your bearings, and it's wild. I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah, I've never seen anything like it.
But I
sure.
highly recommend it to everybody. I mean, it's highly entertaining, and like is it depressing? Yeah, I mean it's about dementia and it's about growing old and whatever, but it's also like super entertaining and
riveting for sure. Like
riveting
and intense.
And we had two movies this year that I thought did a really good job of putting people in the place of the protagonist. Much like The Father, we also have nominated for Best Picture Sound of Metal.
So good.
Which was I recently watched that. Was very enjoyable. And I mean this as a compliment. I could see this winning Best Picture 6 or 7 years ago.
Yeah.
Like I think it's just up against too good of competition, and it's a fantastic movie. It was very, very enjoyable. Great performances all around. We've already talked about a couple of them, and I felt like it was one of those few movies that really has like a nice. I don't want to say necessarily complete, but a satisfying end to it that it doesn't leave you necessarily like super big smile on your face, but you're not depressed either. Really good movie. But Jen, have you had a chance? I think you watched it the other night.
Yeah, and I loved it. Yeah, it's a really neat movie. Another like big surprise. I went into it not knowing really anything about it except Riz Ahmed was in it and he was great. And yeah, like it's definitely I'm another one that I'm so glad we went to more nominations. And also I don't know if this would have been nominated in a year with all these other like big movies because it's such a like sweet, quieter movie. I mean literally quiet. But also, it's I don't see it getting like the buzz and like getting in here. And I'm so glad we had an odd year and it made it because it's a movie I think everybody should see. And I really think everybody would enjoy and take something out of it as well. So like it's a simpler story, but it's like technically it's bringing lots of new things to the game. It's like one of those movies that you watch and you learn more, and aren't those like the best movies where it like lets you see into somebody else's soul and understand them on a better level? Like that's what the best film does, and that's like, and a bunch of these are doing that. The Father's doing that, Promising Young Woman's doing that, Nomadland's doing that. So yeah, it was a unique movie, and yeah, perfectly done from start to finish.
Ryan, we played music together, so it definitely brought me back.
Yeah. So, like you were saying, Jenny, the famous Roger Ebert quote about movies being like empathy machines. I think that is so true, and like it definitely being brought into the world of this community and Sound of Metal is so cool, and it's something that like you've wouldn't even know existed, really. You wouldn't even know that like this argument existed necessarily, that like
Yeah.
people would be upset about or be passionate, I should say, about like should I you know
Change myself.
be
Get
comfortable
the implants. Yeah.
settling into deafness, or should I try to fight this and get the cochlear implant? That's something you wouldn't even really know unless you
Yeah.
dealt with it personally. So
You can't.
it's really
But
cool.
you can take that like message and apply it in so many other ways too. Like when I'm faced with this huge change, do I lean into that change and let it change my life, or do I try to fight back to get back to where I was before?
100%.
And like it's not a right or wrong answer. It's just
And another thing that I thought was going to be tough about this movie, because it's such a universal horror, is that the and something I've had personal experience with is having something happen where you are faced with losing your livelihood. Having something happen in your life where you go, okay, the one thing that makes me who I am, I now can't do anymore.
Yeah.
And that's such a hard truth to like, get into. But yeah, the way it deals with it, Riz Ahmed's performance is incredible. And obviously, you talked about Paul Raci before. But yeah, great movie. Love. That's all I
This is
got.
the movie I think the most that I think everyone could see and enjoy and walk away with something different too, but still really meaningful.
And probably one of the least talked about. Like, I think...
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like this one's getting... Again, all of these movies are awesome, and they're getting talk, but...
It's also a first-time filmmaker, too, I believe. I
Oh, wow.
don't know their name, but I mean, it's at least their first, like, major film.
You want to talk about a super spoiler? You never know. Our favorite from the directing category, we've got Minari, also here in Best Picture. Definitely should be here. I mean, I don't think you can have somebody who is so favored to win Best Directing and not be nominated for Best Picture. Great movie.
Minari is not Chloe Zhao's movie. Chloe Zhao.
I'm
directed
oh my
Nomadland.
God, I'm
Which one do you
being
want to
so
talk about?
stupid. No, I'm being.
No, you're good.
Oh, we should. But Minari is nominated for Best Director.
It is nominated.
So
Lee-
on my
Lee Isaac
on my
Chung.
Asker ballot, they're listed right next to each other. And since you brought that up, I was so freaked out. If anybody goes back and listens, I think I added an N into Chloe Zhao's name when I
You did.
first.
It's okay.
Yeah. I get because I'm looking at a small piece of paper and I feel like
you're
an
good.
absolute idiot, right? No, it's stupid mistakes that I should be more of a professional. And
We're old people. Our
figure
eyes
this-
don't always work good.
Oh man,
We're,
and my
we're,
ears.
we're basically the father.
Yeah.
Oh boy. So I apologize, but yes, let's talk about Minari and why it deserves to be here in the Best Picture category. Jen, go ahead. Sorry,
Oh, sorry.
Ryan. Either one of you.
It's a gorgeous movie. It kind of like, just from the looks of it, it reminded me a lot of I'm drawing a blank on his name. The Tree of Life.
Yeah. We watched that at your apartment too.
Terrence Malick or no?
Terrence Malick. Thank you.
Is it?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Terrence Malick. It kind of reminded me of his sort of visual stylings, where it's a lot of just that beautiful, like, kind of handheld.
Oh, I like this so much more than any Terrence Malick movie.
Oh yeah, I know. I think that the movie itself didn't remind me a lot of Terrence Malick films, but just the look of it.
Oh,
I think
okay.
the
Yeah.
cinematography. But it's I think that it's a small story. It's another story that kind of puts you in the shoes of somebody in a specific place and time, and you can kind of see, experience this this life story, and it was good, and I mean, it was great. It was a great movie. I just didn't. To me, it was a little, I don't know, maybe quaint. And I thought the first half was great. Second half I didn't enjoy quite as much, but it was really good.
Yeah, I think it's a really beautiful story, and I think it's beautifully told and beautifully acted, and in a very genuine movie too. I don't feel like I really liked that it didn't have a lot of the big like Hollywood twists and all of that. Like even some of the bigger moments, like they step back and make it a little bit quieter than I think some did. It's not going to make you it's not trying to make you cry or anything like that. It's just trying to tell you this story about some people if you want to hear it. And yeah, I thought it was really interesting. I loved the acting. I loved the little boy.
He is the fucking cutest.
Oh my gosh. Oh my Lord. Yeah, it's another movie that's like the little moments that really stand out in it, but it's a lot more cohesive than Mank.
Definitely.
And a lot better. It feels very genuine.
And
so it's all people I liked spending the 2 hours with them.
This movie definitely will stick with me a lot more than Mank. Like I feel like there are so many, like you say, just great little moments and like character moments that are like, and I think you used a great word. It's genuine. It seems very real.
Yeah.
And yeah. And I believe this is the filmmakers, based on their life story, kind of. So that makes sense.
Yeah, and I think it's like Jen, you said before, it's a very beautiful movie. Like it both story and visual.
And Jake, just in case you need some like a little push into watching this. Somebody does drink pee in this movie. Spoiler alert.
That is true. Yeah.
No, I wanted.
And there's some penis jokes too.
There are some really good penis jokes too.
Oh.
I'm more of a butt joke guy myself, but I can handle around the front.
You can handle more lemonade. You're more of a fudge guy, but
there's a lot of baby chicks too.
Yeah, a lot of.
And I learned something about that.
Sexing.
Yeah. I had no idea that was a thing, and yeah.
Thank you for excusing all of my old inabilities and not being able to read and making everything funny. So, a few more movies to get through in our Best Picture category. So we have Judas and the Black Messiah. If you were like me and thought, it's going to be on HBO forever because it's premiering on HBO, it's not there anymore.
It's not there anymore. Oh no! Terrible.
I think in a few
for that too.
Yeah, in a few months, I think now that movie theaters are opening, it's in theaters. It'll probably be back somewhere streaming, but Jen, what do you think here? What do you like? What do you?
I saw it alone. There were like 2 other people far away in the theater, but I really wish I had seen it with other people because I wanted to talk about it so much on the way home, and I just had to talk to myself, but I did it just took over my thoughts for the rest of the evening. I loved it. I learned a lot. There was a lot of stuff that I hadn't known. I didn't know this story specifically. It's very cool how it intersects with Trial of the Chicago 7. They're happening at the same time. We've got some of the same people in them, and I would recommend maybe watching, if you haven't watched either, doing Chicago 7 first and then Judas and the Black Messiah personally. Okay. And but I think Judas and the Black Messiah is the better movie. I'm very thankful it wasn't directed by Quentin Tarantino, because he would have loved to have told this story, and he would have made it big and splashy and fast and violent, and this movie does the opposite. Like, how it's directed, which I really liked, and Shaka King, I would also put, I think that's how you say his name. I would have also loved to have seen him nominated for Best Director too, because he does a really kind of light touch and steps away. Even the violence in it is like, you hear the gunshots, but you don't see the results of it. And I think that's a really like interesting, deliberate choice. It's more subtle than you think it's going to be. Lakeith Stanfield's the perfect choice for the protagonist of this, because he's a really nuanced actor. It was a fascinating story, kind of heartbreaking, and excellent.
Right. Yeah. So, Brian, let's hear your thoughts, and let's let this bleed into, like Jen said, the trial of the Chicago 7. Let's kind of go back and forth here. But what did you like about this movie? What makes it deserve to be here?
Well, it was intense. I think it is the first, it's through the entire thing, it's like you're kind of white knuckling, because, it's one of those movies where, Lakeith Stanfield's character is undercover, essentially, and infiltrating this group, and he's in dangerous situations, and he's kind of getting like, the people who are supposed to be like on his side and protecting him are kind of giving him the shaft, and so he doesn't really have anybody on his side. But he's kind of a Weasley character too, and so it's just like he's kind of hard to root for. He's kind of an anti-hero. I mean, I would say he's definitely an anti-hero, but it's it's a very taut movie, and yeah, the acting's incredible across the board.
Across the board. The actress, I hadn't seen her in anything before, that played like the fiance.
She's in The Deuce.
Was so good. Oh, okay.
She's great.
But so's James Franco. He's in The Deuce
too. Twice, times two.
She's in it.
He plays twins.
Oscar host.
He plays twins in The Deuce, so you have to deal with him.
Twice. Great.
But The Deuce
she
is great.
was fantastic, and her chemistry with Daniel Kaluuya was like, whoa, it was amazing. Yeah. She was great.
But yeah,
Landry from Friday Night Lights is there.
Yeah,
so
we know you love a little Landry.
He's always great. He's great in everything.
He is great in everything.
Trial of the Chicago 7, it's the most conventional film on here. I think it's arguably the most entertaining. Outside of
I mean, it depends on what you like. Minari is entertaining in a lot of ways.
Promising Young Woman, I think, was really entertaining, but it's really, I feel weird and bad saying it's entertaining because of the subject matter, but it was like,
I think it's a dark comedy, honestly, for Promising Young Woman is so.
But Trial of the Chicago 7 is very like fast moving, like most of Aaron Sorkin's stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's just it's very well put together.
Yep.
And the acting's, I mean, it's got this amazing cast of actors across the board. Mark Rylance, great.
So that's what I wanted to ask you about. Like, I feel like he's got a lot of roles that are uncredited, because I looked him up on IMDb and like, because I've seen this guy in everything. He's always in the back, and I didn't recognize any of his credits on IMDb. It was very weird, but fantastic, Mark Rylance. Sorry, didn't mean to cut you off.
So
but
good.
You
No problem.
Jumped into
This is the movie, I think from like a artistic standpoint, this is the most like mainstream.
Yeah.
And probably, I mean, like, I think it kind of goes hand in hand, saying it's the most like entertaining, the most Hollywood, it's the most commercial, and it's kind of like goes for the cheap ending.
Yeah, but it does.
Kind
The music swells, everyone's clapping.
Which that's kind of...
It is powerful, though. When you're watching it, though, you're like, yeah, this is amazing. And then you're like, oh, wait, they got me again.
Yeah, and there's just a lot of those moments throughout where you just kind of get swept up in these, like, emotional moments and stuff. And but it's a solid movie. I'm not going to say I didn't like it, because I did.
No,
I mean, we watched it. I was like, hell yeah, that was a fun. I mean, it's basically like a popcorn courtroom drama, you know?
Yeah.
Let's
and a history lesson. Like, it's a fun way to learn history. I learned some things from it. It's put together in a unique way, but it's like, like we've said, it's a well-done courtroom drama. There are a lot of well-done courtroom dramas. I mean, and of course, Aaron Sorkin, it's like a lot of people making like big monologues, and Sorkin loves a big monologue and a lot of fast talking too. And but yeah, it's great. There's nothing wrong with it. It's a like perfectly put together movie. 2 years ago, I would have been rooting for that over any of the other nominees, like Green Book and all of those. I thought it was good. I don't think it's something I haven't seen before, which is one of the reasons why it's not on my list. Yeah, it's one of my 3 like requirements for a Best Picture is for it to be unique, and this one isn't. But it's really good.
You're gonna run out of things that you haven't seen before eventually.
But then movies like all of these come out. Then Sound of Metal comes out, and I'm like, holy shit.
I'm kidding.
Then Nomadland comes out. Haven't seen that one either.
Oh, you are the perfect segue partner, because that's our last movie that we have to get to is Nomadland. It's been winning a lot of awards.
It has.
It won at the Goldies, right? The GGs.
Yeah, it's won at all of them.
Early favorite.
It hasn't lost. I don't think it hasn't lost, except I don't think it won the SAG. That went to Chicago 7, right? But the SAG doesn't really, the Screen Actors Guild doesn't do a Best Picture. It does Best Ensemble Cast.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
this is the Apollo Creed. This is the big one. It was. I 2 nights ago, me and my wonderful, awesome, beautiful girlfriend Kaylee watched this movie, and it was very enjoyable. It's definitely in contention. It's something you think of when you talk about Best Picture. But Jen, what's holding it back?
I think a lot of people aren't excited about it. At least not anymore. Just talking like with other movie fans, a lot of people like thought it was boring or just kind of like driftless, and it's won all of them before, so it kind of like we're like, well, I mean, that's the boring choice. It's already so. I did really like it. I think since so many people had been like, it's boring, I was like expecting that. This is the movie I can definitely see myself rewatching more than any of these others, probably. I'm definitely planning on setting it up my outdoor projector and having a little bit of a smoke and watching this movie. I kind of did that this first time too, and it's great that way. And I definitely feel like
the Highlander.
Yeah. But it's just it's beautiful. Like, gorgeous, and really reminds you how beautiful this country is. It's an interesting story. People that I haven't heard about, like, I don't know this life, and I want to know more. I would love this, like, to be a TV show. And I could spend more time with all of these characters. And I think it has some really interesting things to say also about about work and about, the things that weigh us down, and about, I'll see you down the road, and not carrying everything with us all the time, all the emotions and all of these connections and all of our stuff, and how it can be freeing to leave that behind. And also, how we're like a lot of older Americans were not setting them up for success, and all these people without a stable home and with a lot of trauma in their lives too, but finding the beauty in a simpler life. I don't know. I thought it was fascinating and beautiful.
Yeah. I know it is. It is a very gorgeous and, like you said, well shot movie. Ryan, would you like to speak on the beauty of the Amazon fulfillment centers,
right? Yes.
And all the scenes that take place there and how beautiful they are? I'm just kidding.
That's also something holding it back.
I thought Nomadland was really good. I liked it a lot. I think it's deserving of Best Picture. Yeah.
No, it's a great story.
Yeah, I don't really have much to add that we haven't already said when we talked about Chloe Zhao and that Jenny didn't already say. So, I think that I can kind of just ride off into the sunset on everything else we've already said.
In your van.
Yeah, exactly.
So we were talking before, or at least in regards to our tournament, about how they're, all the actors that have been in multiple Best Picture nominated movies. And I'm wondering, Ryan, because I know you were looking at a list and you said even throughout the history of time, there's only been one actress. But wasn't Three Billboards nominated?
It was nominated.
And
it was just no winners.
We're talking about winners.
That's right. Winners. That's shit. That's right. I was hoping. I was like, maybe Frances McDormand.
No, she's been in a bunch of
she's getting
nominated
close.
movies.
You forget, Jake. If you're
And
not
that
first,
seems to be the thing.
If you're not first, you're last.
Only winning matters here.
Yeah.
Real quick, before we sign off, Jen, I'll go to you first. Do you want to pick one big surprise of the night? What is your one big surprise of the night?
Oh.
Or I can go to Ryan.
Yeah,
first,
go to Ryan. I don't know.
Ryan, do you have a big surprise of the night? One big surprise.
I'm gonna say
documentary
feature. I'm gonna say Crip Camp.
Oh, okay. I'm excited to watch that.
Instead of My Octopus Teacher. And
I
I would personally love if Time won. That's one of my favorite movies of the year. Let alone my favorite documentary
I've heard great things about
of this group. But I'm going Crip Camp for documentary feature.
Right on. Jen,
yeah.
You got a big surprise?
Well, I'm hoping Diane Warren doesn't win this year, and it's Husavik, my hometown.
Oh, yes.
Is from Eurovision, is going to take Best Song. So it's a beautiful song, and also I really am looking forward to yelling, "Play Ya Ya Ding Dong," every time they mention it. So, which I wish that song. I'm really hoping for a crazy upset, and the song "Ya Ya Ding Dong," which was not nominated, wins.
That would be wild.
Yes, if you haven't seen the Eurovision "Song of Fire and Ice," I think is the full title. It's delightful, and it's a fun movie that really nails the ending and has some great songs in it. And Husavik is kind of the nominee from there.
Guys,
I love that.
Guys, there's been a mistake. Ya Ya Ding Dong. You guys won Best Song.
That's what I'm hoping for.
Well, my crazy prediction is that at least one winner thanks the Pop Tournament for making their dreams come true.
I bet it's going to be Chloe Zhao. She's going to be like, Jake, you mispronounced my name. Look at me now.
I don't care. Screw you, Jake. You know what?
Screw you, God boy. She knows all the jokes.
She does.
Yep. She does. Huge fan. Huge fan. I hope you know what? I hope she takes home the Grouchy, our golden Oscar. Ryan's got one himself. Yep. So we'll be back in a few days to talk more about our Oscar tournament, but we hope you guys enjoy the Oscars. Jen, you've got something for us. I don't want to.
Oh yeah, yep. If you've listened this long,
we'll put this in at the beginning of the
okay,
episode.
Cool. So check our Pop Tournaments page on Facebook and maybe Twitter and Instagram too. I don't know how to do those things, but if you guys can put the link there too. We're playing a game. It's free. It's fun. You'll get a shout out on our page and bragging rights and maybe a prize sometime. If we ever get like stickers or something, we'll send them to you. I'd like that someday. But it is a like proposition bet tournament. So we've got like the top 8 categories. You pick your favorites for those. And then it also has other fun questions like how many guests do you think will thank God in their acceptance speech? And fun little bets like that you can vote and we can watch in live time who's winning from the Pop Tournament family. You can compete against us. We're all going to put ours in too, and it'll be a good time. So it's free. Just click on the link and have some fun. And then also stop by our page because we'll be talking about the Oscars all night.
Mm-hmm. I'm picking Garfield 2, A Tale of Two Kitties for every category. So shouldn't be hard to beat me.
Those ratings get you every time.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Any last thoughts? No, I didn't think so. Nope. Thank you guys for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed this year's Oscars ceremony and you get a chance to check out all of these fantastic movies. And for everybody out there in the Pop Tournaments community, please keep on voting and keep on popping.
Pop, pop.
See you on the red carpet, friends.
Oskies.
I'm so cool.
One more?